Welcome to Conversations in the Coop. I'm Brenna Smith, Coordinator of Marketing and External Relations here at Trinity College. Today, I'm joined on the podcast by Faby Cabello from our women's squash team. Faby, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we're going to talk about a lot of things today, but we're going to first go back to the very beginning. So, you grew up in Guadalajara, Mexico, born and raised?
Yeah, I was born and raised there. Yeah.
So, tell us a little bit about what it was like for you growing up in Guadalajara. Did you have siblings? What was growing up like for you?
So I'm the youngest from three siblings. So my older sister, she's 30 now, and my older brother is 26. We come from a really active and athletic family. So everyone has always been working out, having this culture of playing sports. My dad actually did bodybuilding when he was younger, and my sister did it as well when she was in her 20s, I think. I don't really remember, but she did it. And my overall, my dad, my sister, and my brother, we all play squash. Okay. So only my mom didn't like it. She got really stressed about that. It's really fast. There's a lot going on at the same time.
So, were the three of you really competitive growing up? Were you close?
We were, I think, I will say especially with my brother.
Yeah.
We were super competitive on court and outside of the court. He was the only boy, so he used me as his partner in crime. So I was always playing with him soccer, football, any kind of sport that he wanted to play. I was just there.
Yeah.
Helping.
Yeah, you were just along for the ride a little bit. That's funny. So squash started for you at an early age. Was it love at first sight when you picked up the racket, or maybe not so much?
Not really. So when my mom was pregnant of me, they tell these stories about how they took them to the courts and my mom was pregnant, and then when I was 3-4 years old, they took me to the courts and I used to hate it. I always got hit by the ball. I hit myself with the racket. I got hit by the other person by accident. So I was really skinny and small kid, holding a racket that was bigger than me probably. So I really didn't like it. My mom always says that I used to say this is a men's sport. I don't like it. I want to do something else. And now she's really surprised that I'm doing well, obviously. But it was definitely an experience. I learned to love it. So it took me a while.
Yeah.
I used to hate it.
What made you kind of come around on it? What made you move from that?
Yeah.
I'm really not enjoying this to I love this and it's really one of my passions.
I think most of my family, that competition that I have, and my coaches back home. I used to have really nice coaches. They're still I still reach out to them for help, and they make me actually have fun with the squash. So I fell in love with squash after a while, and I really like the adrenaline of playing a match. Mm-hmm. So that really changed everything for me. But it took me a while. So from 4 to 10 years old, I was just maybe going to hit with my family, but I was not there because I wanted to be there. So I was doing more ballet and gymnastics and any other kind of sport that was not squash. I was I'm not doing this. And when I got to turn, I think 8, I started playing more because my mom was I'm not driving to 2 different clubs. I'm actually you need to pick a sport in that club. So it was rather diving or squash, and I was too scared to do diving. So I was squash it is.
That's what you get sometimes when you're the youngest sibling. It's this is where everyone else is going to be, so you need to, if you want to do something, you have to be there too.
Yeah.
So you then had a really interesting high school experience, or give or take middle school through high school. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So when I turned 12, I remember that my coaches were talking to my family and tell them she's gonna be really good if we put some work there, and we have this option because they used to, they still have it. They have this program for athletes. They offer you housing even if you want to take it. They offer you school and food. So you have everything there. So the kind of the way it works is you go from 8 or 7:30 to 10 to practice. Then 10:30 to, I would say like 1, you go to school. 1 to 1:30 you have a break to eat. 1:30 to 4 or 4:10 you have school again. And then 4 to like 8 you have different kind of practices. So it worked differently for everyone, because I had the chance to share the classroom with divers, with people who play badminton, table tennis, wrestling, any kind of sport. So they were like, I would say like the best in the nation. So it was really cool to grow up with them. I got really close to some of them. But it was definitely an experience. It was really about like having a really long day there. Some of my friends actually live there. My mom was like, I'm not gonna make that happen. I want you home at least for dinner and go to bed in your own bed.
Yeah.
So that really makes sense to me. I'm really thankful for that. But it was definitely something different. I don't think like everyone gets to experience that. But it really helped me, because I was not that good when I started playing squash. And then I started having fun, but I was not good yet. So I actually had to put all that work there.
Yeah. Did you, going through that experience of getting to befriend and meet lots of different athletes who are really excelling at all kinds of sports, were there any sports that you got maybe exposed to more that you were like, I'm really interested in this? Like, I'm a little too far down the road to try it, but like anything that made you say like, that's a really cool sport. I wish I knew more.
I think definitely for me the top was badminton.
Okay.
My closest friends, they're still my friends. They used to play badminton, and it was like such a like kind of similar sport, because we grabbed the racket like similarly, but the rules were different. It was so fast as well. And I got to learn a lot. And then we had this kind of like weekends when we went to play the other friend's sport, but diving, obviously, because no one was gonna do that.
Still staying away from the diving.
That was really hard. But I got to understand the rules of like most of the sports that I had friends in, and it was really interesting to see how they were doing in their competitions, how I was doing, and I was trying to explain them. And we played like doubles tournaments for badminton or squash, which was like really fun. And then you have like people that are super skilled at their sports trying to like jump into another sport, and you see these kind of like qualities of like a diver in squash, let's say. So they move differently, they use their muscles differently. So it was really cool. Yeah.
So you mentioned before when we were chatting that squash is not largely a popular sport in Mexico. When you're at the school, were you one of just a few, or were there, did you have a higher population of, or percentage of squash players at this school?
So squash is not a big thing in Mexico.
Okay.
However, in my like state or my city in Guadalajara, we have like the top players back then. So I had like a couple of friends around my age. They used to play as well. Okay. Most of them already like retired. They went to like their normal lives. But then, it's crazy to say you retire at like 15, but they did. And but yeah, no, like I think we have a decent group of people. It's not that big as like soccer back home, for example. I think soccer is the main like sport for Mexicans. But it was really fun to grow up with them, like get to travel with them. I shared the classroom with some of them, so we were literally seeing each other 12 hours a day, which was a little bit crazy, but I was lucky enough to have like really nice people around me. So
yeah. So your path to Trinity is very different from most. Yeah. You actually have completed a degree already in Mexico.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So it's funny because I went to like the university back home at the normal age, like 17, 18. And I decided to do biomedical engineering. We don't have like a liberal arts schools like program like here that you have time to think about it, try a little bit of everything.
You gotta dive right in, you gotta make a decision.
You have to make a decision, and you're 17, you don't really know what you want to do. So I was about to do like med school or engineering, so I just put them all together and I was like biomedical engineering. Yeah, and I did it until COVID hit. And I was in school, so I had to take like 1 or 1.5 years of online classes, which is not really good for engineering. Honestly, we're like working with wires, with circuits, with like programming and coding, and it's just like I cannot do this online. It was really hard to like learn and keep up with the classes. So at some point during all that in 2021, I got the opportunity to participate in Pan Americans in Colombia. And I went with the Mexican team. We prepared the whole year, and I was honestly only able to prepare because of COVID, because we had online classes. I was traveling around Mexico, playing tournaments, practicing, but in 2021, and I think like it was in November, I played that tournament. I played those Pan-Ams, and I got to play Lulu Palacios, who is in the team. She's a senior, and I beat her 3-1, and that was mainly the reason that I got here, because I heard from Trinity, obviously, and I tried to talk to Coach Wendy. Unfortunately, she did reply, but then she ghosted me for a couple of months, and it's fine. I get it, because I didn't have like a big background, like playing pro.
This was your first pro tournament, right?
It was, yeah. Kind of like that. So it was like the biggest tournament that I played, and I beat Lulu, who was like number 5 in the ladder, I think. And after I played her, one of my friends who's an alumni here, she graduated in 2022, she immediately texted Wendy being like, oh, you see this happened, Faby just beat Lulu, you want to recruit her, like something like that, you need to do it. And after that, like at the end of December, I started getting emails from Wendy like, I really want to talk to you, I saw what like happened in the tournament, I really want you here. And that was like the point that I was like, oh, okay, I'm about to finish my degree here. And she's asking me to start again. And I'm like, okay, I really want to do that, because I was the one asking for it. So I was like, okay, maybe it is a good idea, maybe it's not. I talked to my parents. They were like, whatever you decide is fine. Like, they're really supportive. Like, even my siblings were like, it's fine. Like, honestly, if you want to start over again, it's fine. And then Coach Wendy told me that would be to start in 2022, but during the fall. So I had time to even finish my degree back home. So I remember it was really hard to get all done, because it was kind of like all the offices were obviously closed because of COVID. And holidays, and like it was a lot happening. So I tried to get my TOEFL done, because my English was like really, really bad. It's still okay, but you know what, it's fine. And I remember I got everything done within like 2 months, which was like pretty chaotic back then. Like I was like going to different government offices to get my visa, take the pictures, make everything happening actually. And I finished my degree back home in May, I think, and I got to come here in August. So it just worked out.
The timing all kind of lined up just right. Was it daunting to you to like, you've just put a lot of work into a degree and now you're gonna start another one that sounds like maybe you weren't necessarily planning on?
No. Right now I feel like when people ask me, I'm like, I'm really tired of studying actually, but I got to learn a lot here. I really like, I'm doing psychology, and I really like it. And I think the main factor for me to change between psychology and biomedical engineering, it was like taking online classes was not my favorite thing to do. I didn't got to learn a lot of that part that I really needed to learn for engineering. So I don't know, and it's way different. Like also having a degree from like the United States makes you, it opens some doors for you that were not like even there. And also like I got to like experience this whole new life in English in a like different culture. So it's been amazing. I feel like it.
And, I mean, just to stick on that for a second, you're also minoring in studio arts.
Yeah.
So where do you see the combination between biomedical engineering, psychology, and studio arts? Like, do you see a point where it all kind of comes together?
I think so. I think like if you want to look for something, you can definitely find a way to like mix all of them. And I think like for therapy, sometimes there's like some AI or some like virtual reality technologies that are made with engineering, and they follow like the guidelines of psychology. But it's also, you can add like some design aspect to that, and like that's when like art therapy comes there, and like I feel like there's so many like ways to like merge them. It doesn't sound easy, and it's definitely like you have a lot in your mind and trying to put that into words, and then I actually like putting that into something that people can like use. It's really hard, but I feel like I'm in the right path because I really like the help path, like so actually helping people. So yeah, I feel like there has to be a way.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. And that all sounds like it can come together really, really beautifully. So let's talk a little bit about squash here at Trinity. So your first year team went to nationals, went to the finals, and lost 5-4. Last year went back to the finals but won. Talk about just that roller coaster from going from, you know, you were saying before, your first year was a really good year until the very end. So how do you go from that experience to the experience you had last year, and then how do you and your teammates keep level-headed going into this year?
I think there's nothing like playing for a team. I experienced playing for a team back home, like playing for the national team, but it's definitely different. Here you have like 14 women from different cultures, and it's just it is a different experience. My freshman year, as you say, we got to the finals undefeated, and then we lost that match. And I really remember how it worked, because Jana Safi, our captain, was playing the opposite court as I was playing, and we were the last two matches. And at some point, I look outside of the court, and I see all the crowd coming back to my court.
Oh no.
And they were like all like really sad faces. I see people actually crying already. And that was the 5th match for Harvard. But I was still playing, because back then the rule was like you had to finish all the matches. So it doesn't matter if the overall score is done. It doesn't really matter, you have to play all. So I continued playing. I remember I was like 2 love up, and then I had to like play through it, but I was like really not in that mindset. I wanted to leave. I was like, we're done, let's just pack our stuff and go home, it's fine. But I had to play through it, and at some point our assistant coach told me like, you're just gonna feel much better if you win, and it's gonna help the team, it's gonna look better 5-4 than a 6-3. So just do it, just get it done. So I won my match, but it was definitely heartbreaking. I feel like I never had that feeling of like winning my match and then stepping out of the court and wanting to cry and being like so disappointed because we lost. And we had like really high expectations, everyone had them on us, so it was really hard. But then last year we got a really good season. But we learned from that defeat. We were all experiencing the same kind of like, I would not say pain, but like it's just the same feeling. We were all really serious about it. We were repeating the same team. So getting to experience that final and knowing what to do and what you need to do now to get there again and actually get it done and finish all the work that we did. It was something really cool, because during the season we were undefeated. And I remember when we beat Harvard and Princeton, we were like trying kind of like to celebrate and be happy about it. But then it was kind of like 1 or 2 hours after the match that we were like, yes, we did it, yeah, we beat them. And after it was like, okay, what's next? because we cannot let this happen to us again, because I think my freshman year we got a little cocky about it. So last year we really got our like things together. We tried to support each other. We were like really working towards the same goal, and everyone knew what they needed to do. Everyone was in a different place as well. Like some people actually needed to work more like on court, on their fitness, on like their mental ability. So it was kind of like we were just really serious about it, and Coach Wendy kept repeating to us like, this is a business trip, nothing else. We just go and play, live and rest. That's all we have to do. And we all got that, and we all like follow that, and I'm so happy that like worked out, because everyone really did what they needed to do. Yeah. We all took responsibility for that. Yeah.
Totally. Well, because it's such an interesting sport compared to a lot of others, because it's a team. It's team, but there's also this very individual aspect of it that you need yourself to take care of your match, and your teammates take care of your match. So how do you balance that kind of mindset of like, I need to make sure that I'm locked in my own mind, but also you have this balance of, you know, I'm cheering on my teammates, and we need to, as a collective, all succeed.
I think it's really hard, especially for like players that never played for a team. I had like a little bit of that experience with the Mexican team. It's usually 3 to 4 people playing together. We play doubles, so it's kind of like I learned a lot from that. But coming here and having to work with, like as I say, different girls from different cultures, different backgrounds, different squash levels, it was really, really crazy. So I really feel like it kind of like you need to take a moment and be on the court and actually appreciate that moment. And for me, what really works is like not to look at the overall score. I go into the court and I'm like, it's not that I don't care, but like I know they got my back, I know they will get it done, and I need to do my part. And I go to the court and I like try to fight for every single point. One funny thing is like I try not to look at my own score, which is weird, but it works for me. But I remember my freshman year when we were playing against Princeton. I was the decisive match, and at some point, I think I was like 2-all tied, and then I finished the match. I won like 11-3 or something like that, and I didn't even realize that I won. I was going to serve again. I was like, yeah, next one, and they had to stop me. They were like, Faby, you're done. I was like, oh, okay,
great,
yeah. And I didn't even realize it was the decisive match, which is the way it works for me. Is better. It takes some stress out of my shoulders actually, so I can get my part done. That's all I care about, and I feel like if everyone do that as well, it can work. You know, we can make it work.
Totally. And I'm sure for everyone, some people need to know exactly where they stand. Need to know like, okay, it's, you know, we're down 4-2, I need to win this match. And some people, it's all about figuring out what works for you.
Yeah, definitely. And we talk about it a lot. I think we try to give each other feedback. And like we share court with other people, so people going after or before you, we kind of try like to communicate each other and be like, what do you like, you know, like, do you need anything outside of the court? Do you need me to like not tell you how they're doing, like everything? Like, it's just
so you mentioned this briefly, but this is a team that has so much diverse representation of different cultures, you know, individuals from different backgrounds. What is that like to kind of come together with this group where you all have this common thread of squash and, you know, competing at a super high level, and, you know, being at Trinity and pursuing high level academics, but you also have very different experiences also beyond that. So what has that been like to kind of have this team with so many different cultures come together?
It's really interesting actually, because you get to learn a lot. I find myself like sometimes being like, I'm so sorry, I don't know anything about this, can you explain me about culture, religion, anything, because we don't get that like exposure back home. I will never, like, I never met that person from like not Norway or like Paraguay, or I don't know, like it's really really crazy the way it works, but at the same time I think it's fantastic in certain ways because we all get along, we all have fun through squash, and I think we all like support each other mostly. So we try to like communicate and be aware of like maybe your background is not the same of mine, and like your personal history or whatever is going on with your life, your family, is not gonna be the same, and I'm probably never gonna get it, never gonna understand it, but we can help each other, and we are working towards the same goals. So like we can all help each other, like starting with the squash, and then most of us got like to be really close friends, and so it is really, there's nothing like college squash, and there's nothing like this team.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have nationals in a couple weeks. We're really coming up on that time of year. How are y'all feeling?
Really excited.
Yeah.
We definitely know that we have a lot of expectations. We are really, I would say, a little bit tired, but like in a good way. It's been like a long season. We have learned a lot. We only lost against Princeton, which I feel like we really needed that loss to like actually put our feet on the earth and be like, we need to work for this. It's like no one is gonna give it to us. We really need to work hard for this. So we're leaving next week. We're really happy. We're really excited. I'm really looking forward that we have really good teams this year, like Princeton, Harvard, UPenn, and now Stanford. They're playing really good. They have really good players from everywhere. So it's gonna be interesting to see the outcome of that, and I definitely feel like we can get it done. We can do it. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we are super excited for you and your teammates. We're going to be rooting for you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Faby, for taking the time to join us today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
That'll do it for this Conversations in the Coop. Special thanks to Faby for her time today, and we are wishing her and her teammates all the best of luck next week at Nationals. You can keep an eye on all of our scores and schedules at our website, bantamsports.com, or by keeping up with us on our social media at Bantam Sports. Until next time.